Now that you know coaching principles and the four pillars of coaching mindset, the question more often or not I hear when I take these sessions or when I have these interactions are, hey, wait, isn't coaching supposed to be a formal event of two people coming together, getting into an agreement, and ensuring that there is continuity, so on and so forth? And most times people tell me that, hey, it's not possible in my organization to get all of these sponsors in place, get them to actually do this, because a lot of people are busy and they don't want to be getting coached, or they don't want to be coaches themselves. So here are two or three things that I genuinely have been able to understand when it comes to workplace coaching, is that coaching is just not about having a one-on-one agreement, while that actually is most beneficial because the coachee is now committing to you. And that commitment, when somebody says I will do it, and when they don't do it, it's a question of self-esteem for them. So more often or not, the coachee who says I will do this will turn up because of two levels of obligation. One is the commitment they made, and the other one is the organizational commitment. That's the first type of coaching agreement that usually happens, and which is also pretty rare at, let's say, a mid-level manager level, which is where you might face situations where you might not get a coachee to come into an agreement with you. The other type of coaching I've genuinely come to understand over the last decade of having worked in the industry is, every conversation is an opportunity to coach if you're an authority. And I'll put this openly, you do not want to be coaching someone, or you do not want to be using the coaching methodology on someone where you're not the authority. If you're not their manager, if you're not the stakeholder who is responsible for the decision making, if you're not someone who is going to sign, finally say go on a particular document, doing the coaching is actually putting a log into the wheel and stopping it. But if you are all of this, then you can identify moments in your own day-to-day work life where coaching can become a primary go-to approach to solve any problem. And I'll give you three examples. There are three different examples from different walks of your workplace that you can be looking at to identify these moments. One is where there is an outright people issue. It can also be a synergy issue, it can be an issue with cohesion, it can also be a performance issue. People who know how to do stuff are not going to do it because they have a different belief system, right? So these are your first set of issues, your people related problems. The second is a process related problem. We have a set process in place, people are not following it. That also is a moment for you to identify as an individual, as this as a coaching moment. And the third is an intrapersonal problem. There's an issue with confidence, there's an issue with limiting understanding of themselves, there's an issue with somebody's resilience. It can be a communication, but something where you identify that one person has an issue, and this is nothing to do with how they look at the outer world, but mostly to do with how they are inside. And these are the three instances in different instances where, as an individual with at least some authority, you could become a coach to the other person. I repeat, on an overall level, there are only two places. One is where you and the coachee get into an agreement, signed agreement, you both get into coaching. The second is where you, as a coach, as an individual, recognize that there are moments where you can use the coaching framework. But for this to work, you really have to be in authority in that room. If you're not, it'll only be like you're holding up the line for the solution. Unfortunately, it is true. So, if you are the authority, you could do it in three different ways. You could be looking at opportunities where it's a people issue, it's a cohesive issue, people and performance issue. It could also be an issue with process, or it could be an intrapersonal people issue. Thank you.